Okay. So, welcome to the Ion Desk training session. And again, I'll ask, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine. I just finished trading the XIVs. So.
Okay. I'm hoping that went well for you.
Yeah, made about $450, something like that, I think.
Okay. That's great. So right now, you currently have which account? The robot account? Or the practice account?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I have the robot, and now I need the practice account, obviously, first.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I use Excel spreadsheets to develop systems. I have live data coming in from eSignal and whatnot. And so I am not, I'm trying to think on how I change these systems to work on Ion Desk. So that's part of my problem. So.
Okay. And who is your broker? Who are you currently with? I remember you saying that you switched.
Yeah, I'm with Tradeear now.
Oh, Tradeear. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and that is fine. They're one of our low cost partners that we recently added, and they added us, and so we're also with E-Trade as well as TradeKing. First, I'm just going to walk you through some things that you need to know about how to log off and how to get preferences, just very quickly. Of course, on the home screen, you can find out things about what you would, additional information about what you would need to do in order to connect with your particular broker. And so
I have made that connection.
Okay.
I think I've figured that one out.
Okay. And from our home screen, you'll see settings and preferences there, and there are various things that you can do there that it sounds as if you're astute enough to know how to get around and figure these things out. They're pretty much straightforward. There's nothing really hidden or specialized in there, and you can do that at your own time.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'll do now, I'll just click the trading workspaces, and I'll enter it into our workspace. As you can see, I have several things set up here. I've got my robot window there. I've got my chart to the right, my orders view,
Where
my
do you
account
get those
view.
from? I couldn't even.
Okay. From the top toolbar, or you click on trading and investing.
Yeah.
And then you're able to see all of the tools that are available.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I found those. Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Okay. And so, like, if I click bracketed orders, then I'm able to get a bracketed orders dialog box, enter a symbol like Facebook, and then I'm able to add 3 legs or any amount of legs that I want. Drag them around by grabbing them. I'm sorry?
This is different to your. You've obviously upgraded the. It's a newer version than the one that's on your videos. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. We're actually pretty much disconnected. From our videos. We need to update them. Those videos they may be a year and a half old, unfortunately. And so, but yeah, you'll be, I guess, pleased to know that we've made a lot of advancements since some of the media that we have out there, far more advanced. So, like for instance, what I always try to do is when I'm training, I always ask someone, okay, well, which direction would you like to go? Would you like to know, an overview of Ion Desk, or would you like to have me take a look at your specific situation and we address it? Or how would you like to proceed based on your skill level and your comfort with Ion Desk at this point in time?
I think I would. Oh boy. I think I can ask the general questions as we go along, but I noticed that on the old videos you were trading UPRO.
Right.
I trade various systems, but mostly I trade the XIV.
Okay. And we can put that in.
I don't get into the VXX very often because I'm really working on the roll yield that I'm benefiting from being in the XIV. Now it has been, it's gone away from its normal trending in the last 6 months or so, but I still trade it.
Okay. And we can look at it here. I'm gonna put a 6-month chart in here, and we look at some things. XIV, and let's see, daily. Looks like it's a possibility that. Let's see. Is the XIV fairly new?
No.
It's not?
No.
Because it looks as if
it's an ETF.
I'm not able to get any data off of it. Let's see. Okay, there it is. XIV.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was just checking there. Sometimes, like for instance, if, I have some customers say, hey, I'm not able to get BABA, a 3-month chart of BABA. I'm like, I'm not sure BABA's 3 months old. So, those little quirky things sometimes, kind of impedes our progress. But, okay, so, Malcolm, there's a reason why IonDesk exists, and I'm sure you probably, kind of got the gist of it, is basically is the order generation, what you're able to do with the orders. Basically you're able to come into the order and apply a strategy to it. That's the main reason why customers come to us. So, like for instance, if I wanted to place a very simple strategy, I can come in here and say, okay, market. I want a market order, and then I can attach a strategy to it. And so I would right click on my order leg that I wanted to attach a strategy, click configure strategy, and then I would begin to add strategies. So, like for instance, I could come in here and say, okay, I want something as simple as a signal that tells me if the current bar is bullish or bearish. Just something that simple. Okay. All right. Or I can get very complex and say, well, I want this signal to emit once the Renko, something more advanced like the Renko signal. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
No, I'm
but
not.
The Renko signal is a Japanese signal that essentially looks at price movement, or really momentum. And then, once that momentum changes a certain amount, it generates buy and sell signals. So as you can see, this, from our little mini help, that you can see the purple line there as it goes up, and then it has flat places to basically cancel out noise, and then you have a sell signal there, and so on. And so you can actually apply that signal to your trading order, and it's actually attached to the order right now. So if I were to press this order, I'm going to cancel my previous orders that I had. Oh, and by the way, I heard you say something about that you needed a practice account. You already have it?
Yeah, I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah, if you have the robot, you have all of the features that are below the robot.
Yeah, I figured I had it. It was just this was completely new to me based on the videos that I saw. This is the first time I've ever tried to do automatic trading, and I should say that what I use is very similar to what you just described. I actually use my own variation of stochastics on a spreadsheet that generates. First of all, I look back at history, over a certain period of time, whichever is working.
Yep.
And then based on, I get a buy signal and sell signal. But I have to watch it all day long. So
Right.
I'm trying to, put a maximum of say 5 trades or something, and let it run.
Okay, and like there are some things that that we can do to actually integrate into your old system, or IonDesk is pretty open. Like for instance, like if you could imagine that if you wrote a file down from your Excel file, you can have IonDesk look for that file, and then when it sees that file in a certain directory, it can pick it up and know that it needs to place an. In other words, IonDesk could place the order on your behalf, but your other system still be the driver. So there are,
that was the direction I was going in. To set an automated system up, and that's when I found IonDesk actually.
Right.
I have a couple of sons that are into they're computer geeks, and one of them does email programs for casinos and different companies, and so I was going in the direction of sending a file to their servers, which would then send an order to my account. But then when I found IonDesk, I figure this does the whole thing for me. But
yeah.
I would rather.
If you're gonna... Go ahead.
I was just going to say I would rather learn your system, and then see what is adaptive from what I'm doing. So
okay. And again, IonDesk can pick it up from any point from your current system, or possibly you could like you've got a whole spectrum of things that you can do because you already understand the whole concept behind algo trading or automated trading. It's all the same. It's just basically if this happens, then submit this order. There's nothing magical really about it. So
will it
pick
up an order from a? Will it pick up an order from a spreadsheet?
Here's the thing. Okay, so like let me show you how we would begin to approach that. So I don't like to tell people, oh yeah, it can do X, Y, Z. So like for instance, I'm going to show you the IonDesk script. So we have a scripting engine, as well as we have also the abilities like for IonDesk to read full-blown DLLs. So like in your case,
DLL?
like a dynamic link library, like that's basically what your Windows system is running. Like when you dig around in Windows, you see all those DLLs, .dll. That's just code software. So like for instance, IonDesk is totally, I guess what we would call say modular. Okay, and so like for instance, when I click here and I say configure strategy, if you could imagine, you could have your own Malcolm strategy right here, and it be the driver. So these strategies are just sets of code that are in a directory, okay? And I've given them different names, okay? And so what happens is IonDesk looks over every millisecond and says, okay, Malcolm, is it time to go? Okay, Malcolm, is it time to go? Okay, Malcolm, is it time to go? Malcolm says yes. We send the order to your broker, and then everybody's happy, hopefully. So,
okay. Well, you're a little bit ahead of me in as much as, I'm just familiar with spreadsheets and coming up with if this is true, then in a certain cell it'll give me a signal, and then I go to my account and I place the order. But you're saying I have to convert that to some kind of software signal.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just telling you all of the options that are available. So, like for instance, we may even have something in here that you can use. So, like you can mix.
I see.
Like for instance, if you look at one of my back tests, all right. Here's a back test that I've developed. Okay, and we can look at some of the inner strategy. Okay, it's pretty advanced, but it's not out of the realm of anything that you would understand. So the first part of my strategy is that I want to know that the current bar is above the previous bar. That's just part of my strategy before I buy. The second part of the strategy, another part is I grade out this piece because I just wanted to see how it will perform without it. But another part of the strategy here is that I want the current price to be above the open. I don't care if it's positive or negative, like in terms of for the day, it's changed. I just want to know that the current price is above the open. Then to me, that's bullish. If it's below the open, then that's bearish for me, regardless if it's actually red or green. Okay? And so that's my second condition. My third condition, I'm using Fibonacci. I know that if you're using stochastics, then you're familiar with Fibonacci.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
True.
I don't use it, but I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Right. And so basically, the way it's used within IonDesk will scan the data coming in and then look for swing points. So here's a swing high, here's a swing low. IonDesk will buy in at whatever percentage of the Fibonacci that you want. So this is a little bit closer. It's showing for a 38.2 Fibonacci. Here's the high, here's the low. IonDesk would buy in at that red point if it breaches that. So. Those are my strategies for my entry, and then for my for my stop, I have. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to click that. I have a custom trigger, and it basically says that if you go below the low of your low swing point, then that's considered a stop. So the stop is very dynamic, and then on the high and on the top side, I've got Renko to manage the selling. Okay, and so even though I have market orders as my final trigger type, I have a strategy that is driving, looking at the data coming in and then making decisions. So
well, I fully understand that. I guess I need to know how to get around your software to achieve those kinds of decisions. Yeah.
Okay. So like for instance, I think we even
I'm sorry.
And I think that we may even have a version of stochastics. Let me take a look. I'm pretty sure that we have that, a version of it. Like a lot of people use it different ways. Yeah. Let's see. We've got. Let's see. That's probably a signal. And let's see. We've got. The stochastics is very much like a MACD, correct or not correct?
Yeah, it's a percentage. It's 1 to 100, But one of the things I do is, of course, you would probably use a standard stochastics, which is probably a 13 or 14 periods.
Okay.
What I've done is adapted stochastics to whichever stock or ETF I'm trading.
Right.
And so
based on his ATR, I'm assuming?
Yeah, based on history, how can I write the stochastic formula in order to make that stock behave the most profitable? So, I can't use a standard stochastic, but I can, with Excel, I can write my own stochastics. So I don't have to just take a standard formula,
Okay, tell me this.
Well, you can. Here we are. You can just. I see it here now. You're using a Mac. Let's see. Slow period fast. Okay. So I can actually adjust the periods in your formulas.
Yes. Right. You can do that.
Okay.
And again, I want to ask you. Is your code? Is it in a macro? In a VB macro, I'm assuming?
No, it's just formulas that I've.
Oh, okay. It's formulas actually in the Excel.
In the Excel, and the cell will either tell me to buy or to sell.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
I totally understand.
I haven't gone any further than that. That's why I'm interested in your software, I guess.
All right. So let's do this. Let's walk through. Let's take this path. Let's walk through the software, and I show you how to make it behave the way that. Like, let's pretend that we did have something exactly the exact signal. Okay. And so we'll look at how IonDesk would approach your situation and how would it trade and so on. So,
okay.
all right. So let's talk about. You said you wanted to run all day. You said you wanted to continually look at the market, and you said you wanted to control how many trades. So we're not going to, all of our orders are basically done through this 3-point bracketed order kind of setup, but we also have it in our robot. So I'm going to take it here. And so now when you open up a robot window, you're presented with, a root, a robot group, and then you have robots that you can add. So I'm going to create a new group. Okay, here it is, and then I'm going to add a robot to it. Okay. Now this robot has no configuration. All right, and so I'm going to open up the model order here.
Mm-hmm.
Now above we have commands that we can place by hand, and we also have the status for this particular robot, which there's nothing there. It's basically showing us some errors that are because we haven't set up yet. So let's put in the XIV. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then we enter our shares. I'm assuming that if you made $400 on this particular stock, then you're probably trading somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 shares.
I'm actually on this particular one. I'm trading 250, but
okay. So
it depends on which account I'm. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I also have a software sheet that tells me how much collected balance I have in the account, because although Tradeer has added that, which is very nice.
Okay. Yeah, and you can get that information, inside of here, the balance and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we're still going through setting up our robot. We've put in the symbol, we put in the shares, we have selected our entry type, and then we want to begin to set up our legs. We have our practice account selected. I'm currently logged into Trade King, and as you can see, my other two Trade King accounts there. And so when I want to go live, I just select that, and then I'm able to go live with that. So we're going to place a entry order. Now do you use targets and stops as well, or would you like to?
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Okay.
My entry point is usually somewhere around 45, which is a 45 stochastic.
Okay.
And the buy point comes when the current minute is above 45, and the recent 2 minutes or 1 minute is below the 45. So as soon as it crosses in an upward direction, that's stochastic.
Okay.
Then I buy.
Okay.
I don't know if that makes sense to you, but
yeah. Yep.
This thing is oscillating. It goes down to 5 or 10, and then goes up to 90 or 100. So when it goes through 45 on the way up, I buy it, and when it comes back down through 45, I sell it. Okay.
Yep. That's very much the way some customers use Williams R. In a very similar fashion. Williams R is a technical which ranges between 0 and 100, or sometimes I think some people, it's also printed as negative, from 0 to negative 100. I think so. In any manner, people look at it the same way, and so. What we would do is we would just set it up for a market order, okay? And then we would want to apply our strategy to it, okay? And we would come in here and we would add a strategy, all right? Now, let's pretend as if your particular signal existed, okay? It doesn't right now. Now keep in mind also, we can do other things like we have formulas, we have scripting that we can apply. So there's still a lot that can be done. It doesn't have to be a pre-built signal. Okay.
I need to spend some time looking at each of those and seeing exactly what the what it is.
See, even with the scripting, you have the ability to, whether VB or C sharp, to do some, more advanced things there.
That's beyond my pay grade. I don't know anything about that.
Well, you can also use formulas, which is definitely within your grade, because that's exactly what you're doing in Excel.
That's exactly right.
And so with the formulas, you would need to get information. And so what happens is that, like, for instance, we would get something from one of these moving averages, like most people like to use the EMA. And so you would get the EMA, and then you would have a variable. And so this particular signal here, we would assign a variable of M to it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then our formula would, could possibly be M greater than, 90 or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So here, let's see here.
This
so we would have our formulas.
What I'm in. Yeah.
Yeah, and so so this is a strategy that is going to be using a formula, versus like where I was showing you earlier, where we had a strategy that was actually using a signal, which I'll add one, or we can use the quote. I mean, like, there's a lot of things that you can do. Most people use signals because they can just come in here and pick something like the Fibonacci or the MACD, or something else really simple. Like for instance, like, let's say if you did have your formula, but you also wanted to confirm it with something else. I know that yours is pretty straightforward, and I understand exactly how it works, because I just had another customer that did the exact same thing with our Williams R. Basically, they said the problem is that they know the value, but they don't know where it came from. They said they want the current value to be, like, let's say the current value just crossed above, it just bottomed out and it's crossing above the 20 level, but they want to make sure that some of the lagging data was below 20. So that would let them know that it's crossing and it's moving upward. And I said, we can definitely do that.
So you can take, if I set this up, for instance, to take the last price every 2 minutes, or every 1 minute, or every 5 minutes, I can then manipulate those last prices for the last 6 periods or 10 periods or whatever. Is that?
Oh yeah.
Is that what you're telling me? Yes, I can do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it may take us helping you, get very detailed and specific, because I'll always tell customers that even though most try to learn the system in and out, I mean, this thing has a lot of stuff in it. But everybody wants to get directly to their order. They don't want to spend years trying to learn this thing or master it. They just want to. I have a strategy. I want to implement it, and this is how I want it to work. So we always come in and assist in that fashion, and then we hope that we can get you to where we can, or we try very hard to get you there. We had a pretty good success rate, but if we can't, then we immediately try to help you get and locate a system that you can get, going with the way that you want to trade.
Okay. So I can proceed to learn some of this formula aspect of the program,
right?
And
exactly
adapt. Instead of having the formula, obviously my formulas rely on historical data, but I can still write the formulas, be a more complicated formula that would just recognize just the last 10 periods, rather than I have, the last 6 months of data, or 12 months, whatever.
And we also write custom, custom solutions where you could just drop your solution right into a directory. And so what you would see would be, the Malcolm Group solution. And when you drop it down, you'll see, like if you say, Leonard, I want you to, to build this signal, and I want you to expose this parameter, this parameter, this parameter, so that I can change it. And so that's what we would do. And so the Malcolm Group solution would end up looking something very much like this form that I have up, and then you would just apply it to your order, and you would come in and set it up however you want. So like today, you may be looking at the 45, and tomorrow you may want to apply it 46 or 50 to something else. And so we would open that as a variable, but you would have a form right here, and you would be able to apply it and instantly, it would be easier to manage, like when it's packaged as a DLL the way that we have it here. If you mentioned that term to your sons, they would know exactly, like what that is. It's just binary code. It's just, instead of you seeing it in plain text, it gets compiled and it becomes an integral part of the system when IonDesk starts up. That's the only difference. So, so you get the whole concept of, I have a entry order, and then I apply a strategy to it. Now let's talk about the other legs. We've got some special things in here that I want to show you. Of course, we've got our stop. So, like, if someone wanted to come in and have a stop, can you hold 1 second, please?
Yeah.
Okay. So you could have a stop set at a certain amount below, your order here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to see. All right. So we have that guy set up, and trying to see.
So while you're doing that, as I understand it, when I set the target will come from, as soon as the market opens, it will calculate the data or look at the data that's coming on that particular stock. And if my target formula is true, it will buy the stock.
It will buy the stock?
And okay, so each one of those three arrows is backed up by a particular formula based on the data that's streaming in.
It can be. So like in your case, let's just talk entry. Okay, we just talked about the entry and how the entry would have the brains of the Malcolm Group's solution, right?
Okay.
So your target, it can be smart, or it could just be a fixed amount, or it could trail. It can do whatever you want it to do. It's totally up to you. So like, for instance, your stop could be set at a fixed amount, or you could come in and you can apply some type of custom strategy to it. So like, we could right click and add a strategy to our stop, or we can add a custom trigger. So like, for instance, we've got this thing called Profit Wrench, which is pretty interesting. Okay, now I want you to follow this concept with me.
Okay.
So the entire concept behind the Profit Wrench is to allow you to set up ranges of behavior, okay? So like, for instance, like, let's just say that my first stage, I want the stop to snap, okay? And I'm going to take you over here and show you the help on this first, because I specifically built this for my own personal trading. So you know that I meant business when I built it. So in the past, most would look at trailing stops and target stops, etc., as a way of, capturing profit, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But in essence, when we place a trade, I'm pretty sure you've been in a trade that you wish you didn't have to be there to manage, or like you just wanted the computer to manage it, but it reaches a certain level, and you're like, wow, I wish that it could follow it, but not follow it too close. Or as it gets higher, I wish that it could scale and do all these other things. Well, that's what the Profit Wrench does. So I'm going to scroll down to kind of give you an idea. Can you see this information on the far left, like as far as okay. So as you can see right here on the right, it's saying stage 1, okay? So we're setting up stage 1 behavior. So this is the starting range, which is the lower range, and like, we've actually changed the names of this. It's actually called the lower range and then the upper range. And so what we want to do is, on stage 1, we want that once the price reaches positive 10, okay, 10 cents above where we bought it, we want the stop price to snap to 0, okay, meaning that the stop price is going to snap right here, and so we're locked in. So even if it comes back, we're locked in. Okay?
Okay.
Stage 2. If it reaches if it reaches 20 cents or higher, then we want it to begin to scale. And scaling in IonDesk is not like percentages. You know, like percentages is based on the current price. So like for instance, if we're talking about 50% of a $5 stock, we're talking about $2.50. But in scaling, if we bought at $5 and the stock reaches 6, 50% is 50 cents. Okay?
I see. Okay.
Right. So if we had a 50
of the gain. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so if it moves up to $7, well, we will still be scaling. But also with the profit wrench, we could have a third stage that says if we've got a gain of $2, then I want you to begin to trail. You know, so there's a lot of things you can do with that, and you can imagine how that works. You know, like you've got ranges, and then you've got behaviors of how you want your stop to behave. That's very powerful. In contrast to just a normal trail where it begins to trail up, but sometimes you need to give it room to breathe so it can go higher, and so that you can capture even more, more profit. So that's something that you definitely want to play around with, and the way you get to it is here. You would drop down our trigger types, which are we have stops, we have conditionals, we have trails, and we have our customs. Okay, and there's the profit wrench right there.
Okay.
And so you can set these guys as static, or you can make them as smart as you want. Okay? You can even have, if you can imagine this, you can even have just 2 legs, and you can have something like the profit wrench could manage your upside as well as your downside. So, I tell people that, the stop here is kind of like is something that you can have, or if you truly understand, you can have just one single trigger at your target that manages both sides. And so this would manage our upside and our downside. So that's pretty powerful. And as you know, because you do formulas, the less is more, in terms of calculation. So
yeah.
I want to show you.
I could see from just watching the videos that it certainly has an extensive ability, and I guess that's I just couldn't get around getting into it, So what I need to do is to play around with trying to get a system working, and I think once I understand the basics of it, it looks like a great system. I have to compliment you on what I think is going to be.
Well, I've been at it for a while. I've been at it for about 5 years, and and so like I just put an update out Sunday, and we're just going to keep pushing. Right now, we are having some issues with our data provider, and we hope to get those corrected very quickly, even if we have to move to a different data provider. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you realize that in this market, especially with the price levels that we're trying to keep our product, we're not trying to get our customers into a $100 plus product. It doesn't merit that because we're all trading. So we want to keep our prices in a range that makes sense for what it does. And and it's fair for our customers, and so we're trying to avoid the high end data providers, but still have quality. So,
do you work with Len Yates? Have you worked with Len Yates, the guy that owns OptionView?
No. Len Yates.
Yeah, the reason I bring this up is I was with I was with Ameritrade. I ended up going with TradeMonster for the last 5 or 10 years. And I had a disagreement with them because they would not calculate the collected cash. And anyway, I ended up closing about half a dozen accounts with them. But Len Yates invented and started OptionView. which is an option program. You're probably familiar with it.
Right. I've heard of it, yes.
He and I have been friends for 20 or 30 years. And
wow.
We both programmed blackjack. The difference is he used to work for IBM, and he had a 360 at his disposal, and I just had an IBM 32 desk computer at the time. But anyway, we both ended up with almost exactly the same results. But anyway, he switched some of his accounts to Tradeer because his opinion was Tradeer were very friendly in the back office, whereas TradeMonster just don't want to hear from you. You know, I mean, they were just not very friendly. Even though I've known the Nigerian, the older one, Doc, for about 25 years, but it's not him. It's his operation. You know, and his operation is pretty sad. But anyway, I know that Len is working with Tradeer, and Len has some systems that I believe would work extremely well.
Wow.
He uses, for instance, I know that he has his customers trading the XIVs for the roll yield, and I'm sure he would be a great contact, he would do it himself because he likes to trade himself as well. But obviously, he's, you know, running OptionView is his main business. But
of course.
Anyway, that's just by the way. But I see him here. Yeah.
Yeah,
he's a great guy.
I'm kind of like a small fish, but I'm trying to make headway with the product. And like the guys at Tradeer, I know them personally. I actually went to Las Vegas and presented with them last year, and so we actually have a personal relationship. They know if you say, hey, you know Leonard, oh yeah. So I know those guys pretty well, and we're going to keep continue to move forward and try to provide good solutions. I think you get how IonDesk works. What I want to do now is I want to show you how the robot would work. I'm going to set this back to market. Okay, and actually, I'm going to add a conditional that if the bid is greater than. Okay, and so I'm actually going to place a trade here on the XIV. And currently right now, of course, the state of our robot is offline. It's red. And so with the robot, of course, we can dock a robot, which means that it must be manually undocked. And then it's currently offline, but it's ready. And so to start a robot, we place it online. Okay? And so once it's placed online, it will, of course, look at whatever strategy is attached to our entry order. And as you can see, it has actually placed it in our practice account. And so if you were to do this during live hours, it would be just like trading, except for you're not gaining or losing any money. And so as you can see, there's still a...
How do I know that it's in training mode and not in online? That was one of the things I couldn't figure out.
The account that you select.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and so if you wanted to trade this live, you would select a live account, and you'll see that the robot changes, and then you'll have to select in your orders view to see the live activity, and it also looks at any existing orders that you have. So if you were to drop down whatever account that you have there, it would go from practice to live. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I'm going to put that back on practice, and so now. As you can see, we've placed that XIV order because we didn't have a strategy attached to it, okay? And so I'm going to go clear my practice orders here at the very top. I'm clearing my practice orders. And as you can see, my robot is back offline. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to attach a strategy to the XIV that I know that is not going to be true. and I'm going to say that if the time is less than 5:04, then it'll place the trade, and it should not place. It should keep it in the orders queue. So I'm going to go up here and place the trade. And as you can see, it's still in the orders queue. It didn't place the trade because it's waiting for this particular strategy to be true. Okay? And so that's the way that, the robot works on the surface. And, of course, you've got all of these settings below. So I collapsed our model order, and now I'm here looking at the settings. And so within the settings, there's a lot of things that we can do. If we had multiple robots here, we could control those robots in many ways, and I'll show you different ways to do that. So, let's say if I had a limited amount of money and I only wanted one robot to trade at a time, but I want them both to be looking for a strategy and then the other one to go offline, right?
Okay.
All right, so I've actually got that set here on mine that when post-trade, I want you to take other robots offline. Post-exiting a trade, I want you to bring them all back online. So what that means is that if this one becomes true and it places an order, then one or more robots will go offline.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And so when that trade is complete, it'll come back online, and then now all of my robots will begin again to look for the next opportunity. Okay. So let's see here. There's other settings here. Let me go to the robot level. Now there are settings at every level. I'm going to show you what I keep at my root level. At the root level, I have a strategy that I apply to just the management of the root. And what I'm saying is if the time of day is greater than 9:40, then all of these robots have the ability to trade. Okay. I could quickly come in here, copy that, and then paste. And then I can say also I want the time of day to be less than, let's say 3:40 p.m. I always struggle with this. Kind of like Bill Gates the first time he showed, and he got the blue screen.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I've got basically and I guess I could have done this a different way. I could have said between, I could have did it between, and then, it would have handled it like that. So that's at the root level, and so we can apply. In other words, you can have strategies that actually manage everything, and so not only can you apply strategies at the order level, okay, which we've done here. Okay, you can also apply them at a group level or at a robot level, okay, and the order level and at the leg level. So there's a lot of places where you can apply some brains. There's also another nifty, huh?
I was going to say this is really quite sophisticated.
Yeah,
to learn.
But
yeah.
Like the way you want to think about it is that you want to think about I want to control X, and then you think about, well, where do I do that at?
Yeah.
That's the way you want to think about IonDesk. Where does it make sense? Where would you want to control all of your robots? You think about the root. Where would I want to control a group of them? You think about the group. Where would I want to control a robot? You think about the robot. So it's not really that sophisticated. It's just that you just want to think about the areas that you want to, manage. So, like, for instance, even at the root level, we have settings that are global, how to, like messages to show, stuff like that. Some of the things that you spoke of very early on was like managing how many robots can trade or how many times they can trade. Those are the things that you can manage at the robot level, or you can manage them at the group level. Okay. Now, note when you make those settings at the group level, they are still per the robot. Okay. So, like, let's say if you had 10 robots looking for an opportunity, but you didn't want to go and configure each one of them, you can override all of the settings within the group and then apply these settings to those robots without having to go to each one of them. Does that make sense? Okay. So, and
you can apply the same conditions to all robots.
Right. No. Well, the same settings. the same settings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to mix in the word condition because that kind of leans into strategy. But here, you can apply those conditions. But yeah, we're talking about the settings. So like for instance, like let's just say that I had a type of order that could actually occur within the same time interval, and I didn't want that. So you could do things like avoid the same time interval. You can check that, and you can tell how many minutes in order the spread in between. And if you didn't want that style of spacing, you can come in here and say, well, time between trades, regardless of interval, and so you could apply that there. And so now all of the settings that are here, you can get quick help by just rolling over the little blue icon there. And so it'll quickly tell you, okay, this is what this means. This is what this means. And you can learn a lot about that. Now, one of the nifty things that you may enjoy, since you say, okay, I want to not be in front of my computer, but at the same time, I'm about to trade this crazy robot thing that Leonard's trying to push on me. What you can do is you can come in here and say, I want to apply permissions here, okay?
Yeah.
And so what this means is that we'll actually send you, and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm gonna go over to our Facebook. I'm gonna go over to the forum. I think. Why do I need to do that? Why can't I just go here and click here? Oh, Facebook, you make stuff so complex. Let's see if I have. Okay, there it is. Okay, so here's an example of what you would get in your email. Okay, this was added, I guess, June 18th, and basically you would get an email that says, "I just got an order that's ready to go inside of the robot," and so you'll get this like on your phone, and then you can say place trade or cancel. And so we basically send a message back to your computer. Well, basically your computer keeps checking for a go or no go, and it behaves, and so that's kind of giving you discretionary. And so you've got the computer looking for the opportunity, and then you're able to say yes, do it. Okay.
That's kind of what the last thing I was working on before I found IronDesk. We were looking at a way to sell my signals to a clientele.
Okay.
And so I was going to send an email to them saying, okay, here's the signal, buy, buy, sell, or that was it,
Okay. Okay.
So that's kind of interesting. You can actually do that through this,
And so that's our permission system, and of course you can have that applied at the email, or like if you're sitting in front of your computer, you can just say buy alert box, and so what will happen is it's going to look something sort of like this. I'll clear this order, and I'll show you what it looks like. And the first thing we got to do is we got to remove the strategy here so that it'll place. I'm going to put that target back up there. All right, so we're ready to place this guy. Oh, we'll take it offline. Place it. Okay, so here's the permission, and we're giving it permission to place the trade, and it just placed it. So that would be after. So like in the case of like if you had your strategy attached to it, it would wait until the strategy is true, and then you would get this. I'm going to close that position, and of course we're going to lose money there. Or maybe we didn't. Oh, I guess we. Okay, the ask. Okay, so yeah, that's interesting. We were able to do a lot of different things there. Now, I'm going to show you the back testing in conclusion. I'm going to set up a few dates here. Let me see, find out which one I have loaded. So I've got my Fibonacci thing loaded, and I'm just going to set this to, let's see, let's put it on the the 10th. Let's go to the 13th there. It's 3 days. And so we're going to just run this. What did I do? Oh. All right. By trying to get this thing set up. Okay.
This is back testing on your data feed, right? Whoever's providing you the
right.
data. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Trying to think here. Maybe I need to set it to about 5. Having some let's try this. Should be getting some data through here. What are we testing? We're testing some stock that okay, let's try UPRO. Oh, it's on Saturday. That's why. I'm like, why is this? Yeah, it needs to, guess, jump to Monday there. Trying to see why is it having an issue? Did I change something in the strategy while we were talking?
If you did, I
don't see anything there. Yeah, this is the thing that I've been working with here lately. Is we've been definitely having some kind of data issue going on here, but we're going to be moving very quickly to get off of these guys because they're kind of killing me here. Still getting the same behavior. Let's see here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try to shut this thing down and then restart. See if we get in a different behavior. Yeah, this just started like, I don't know, about 3 or 4 days ago, and now it's plaguing me. But we're gonna get out. Every pain always brings something great.
Yeah, I some things you'd said reminded me about how there's something running. Yeah.
Yeah, there it goes.
Len Yates had a problem with his data provider and switched some years ago.
Yeah, because see, they come into business and they go out, and it's just, you really cannot afford to, see this.
Yeah,
this
I mean, you're relying on all your customers are relying on them.
Yeah, and like they kind of look to us to say, okay, is it you? And I'm like, well, it's not me, but it is me. And it's frustrating sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm doing here is I'm running a back test, and it looks like, check to make sure this thing isn't upside down. Let's see. We're buying. And let's check to see something here. Okay. Everything looks pretty good. Thought we may have want to look at a few days and see what's going on here. and so what you're able to do is you're able to come in and then basically take a look. It looks like SPXU was trading on some down days, and we were getting like caught there. But at the same time, we would have a robot that would be trading in the inverse direction, and so it would be, and so we got a buy right there, and then got some things going on there, and here's a day. Very interesting set of buys. Okay, and so what you're able to do is you're able to come over to the stats afterwards, and then kind of look to see, how things performed, winning, losing, and those type of things. Drawdown, trades per minute, hour, week, everything. So if I get the data coming here correctly, we're gonna have pretty, hot shot system. But yeah, this is the back test, and so you're able to come in again. You set up your model order, and then like you've got some settings like when you want to start, when you want to end, how tight the intervals you want to be. Like if you want a more granular back test, you set it lower to a 1 second, 2 second interval. I normally run mine at 60 seconds. It's pretty tight enough, Some people run theirs at 15. And so we're simulating, of course, the bid and ask, because we're not getting tick data, we're getting historical data. And so we're simulating, the bid or ask, and so you're able to set up how you want the bid or ask to behave. Do you want no spread, 1 penny, auto generate, or you want to use a custom spread there? And I normally, for the stocks that I trade, they normally have about a 4-cent spread. They can get up to 10, but on average. And so you're able to set that stuff, and then you're able to set, the custom bid ask size, and that really should say custom bid ask size maximum, because we also, oscillate the bid ask size so that it's simulating. I had a customer say, well, why don't you just do it the same? Why isn't it the same all of the time? I said, because of the type of data that we're getting, we can't do that. So therefore, we have to simulate things, but it also stresses out your a strategy as well. It puts it up under very rigorous conditions, because you don't want a glorious back test, and then you put it live, it's going to be worse. You want something that simulates the market or worse, so you can see how well your strategy would work. So,
do you tend to use these leveraged vehicles, ETFs? I noticed that all the examples were on UPRO and
Yep. Those are the areas that I normally trade. As personally, I in order for robotic trades to work well, you need your stock to move.
Right.
It just doesn't work well when the stock is kind of like not really moving. You're getting signals, but is that a true signal? And you really need it to move so that the math can say yes, no, definitively, and it actually means something. Because otherwise, like you're getting a lot of false signals. Like when I first started, algo trading, of course, I was, of course, looking at what the moving average crosses. That's where most of us start. Hey, that looks great. Then I learned out how late it was. And so that just didn't work out.
Well, that's I was going to say that's really why I developed this variable stochastic. I use a list of sometimes as many as 100 stocks, but each one has a different stochastic value.
Right.
So it eats up spreadsheets like crazy, but just to get, as you say, a signal that you can rely on is
right.
Is a problem. Yeah. Did you write this software?
Yes, I built it with my own 2 hands.
Well, I compliment you.
Well, I appreciate it. There's a lot of things lacking. The help isn't that great. IonDesk is really for people that understand algo trading. Like that understand that I need historical data, that I'm trying to find a true false scenario, and they understand. They can see it in their mind. I have a like for instance, like if you saw how, like when I'm actually teaching people to trade, which I'm excluding you because you already know what you need. But when I'm teaching someone to trade algos, I always tell them to organize their strategy into at least two different groups. You have a trigger group, and then you have a confirmation group as a minimum. And then sometimes I also tell them to have an environment group. So as you saw from mine, even though I didn't organize it, it wasn't labeled, I have mine basically in the three groups. There's an environment that I want. So basically my environment is I want the price of whatever I'm trading to be above its open. That's my environment. And so that sets up a global kind of feeling to, to put the probability more in my favor.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I move on into, well, what's going to be my trigger? Okay. Well, my trigger is my Fibonacci. Okay. And then, of course, my confirmation is those little small signals that says, well, I want the bar next to me. I want to be higher than that bar. And so those are just little small things that it shapes up my strategy so that I know that every time this trades, it obeyed that rule every single time. And so like you may, like end up attaching some of our built-in things like, well, I need to know this or I need to know that, I actually had something that I use, and I don't have it in any of these strategies, but it's something that I call mixed market. I always notice over the years of trading that whenever there's a mixed market, it's not really good for algos because you tend to get this whipsaw, and that is an enemy of what we're trying to achieve. We want there to be a problem, in the stock market that's making our stocks go down hard, or we want there to be something glorious that's making our stocks go up so we can make money easily and cleanly, And so, I've got the mixed market. It's actually a signal. No, it's not a signal. It's what we call a quote signal. Okay, quote signals are simple signals that are based on price action only, no historical data. So we've got all sorts of things like the ask size ratio, the average candle size. So you can look at things like that. The bid size ratio. You can look at here's the mixed market detection, like when the market's mixed. Well, what type of signal do you want? Do you want a buy, sell, or neutral? When all are positive, buy. When all are negative, sell, or something like that. So you can mix all of.
Do you have volatility or beta? Do you have a volatility or a beta signal there?
No, but the thing is that like with IonDesk, you're able to build little things like that.
Yeah.
Can you hold one second, please?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Hello. Yes. Okay.
Okay. When you said that, I was thinking that's why I like volatility. When volatility is going up, I know what's happening, and when it's coming down, I know what's happening. So
right.
And that's a good environment to be in.
We don't have. Let's see. What is this trading day comparison? Built so many things in here that. Is like, okay, what when trading above price type highs? Wow. Okay, so this particular signal emits buy and sell signals based on how the current date is trading when compared to a selected day. So if you can imagine how you can compare one day to another day. So yeah, there's a lot of different things that we have in here. simple things that you can construct to basically turn your idea into a strategy. And so those things are important to me. We've got patterns. We've got plenty of patterns in here. Plenty. Crows, soldiers, black crows, lines, inside stars, whatever. And so whenever we see these patterns, it emits a buy signal. Okay, and I can show you what that looks like. Our charts. I always tell people that our charts kind of suck from a technical analysis, but they shine when you're looking at when you want to see how something would behave. So, like for instance, on our chart, I can go here to patterns, and I can say, okay, I want to see 2 soldiers, which means 2 green bars side by side. And so this is the way that your order would begin to buy is whenever it saw that second soldier, that would signal a buy. And so you would easily be able to attach that strategy. Let me go to the robot that I made for you. So you would be able to attach that strategy right to your entry order here. Double click that, and I could come here and say, okay, I want you to obey this pattern. Whenever you see this pattern of 2 soldiers, okay, then I want you to buy.
Okay.
And of course, there's some other things that we've got in here, like how long you want that signal to last. I want the signal to be less than or equal to 3 minutes. So, like, you can actually determine how long you want that signal to. Like, imagine a signal as an explosion. So, how long would you want to hear the sound? Okay. So, if you only wanted that signal to last for a minute, that's how long it will last. And so that's what this little configuration is down here. So, that gives you a lot of power to overlap signals. So, like, say, like if you had some things that, one thing happened here, another thing happened there, you can have them overlap even though something else may have happened, 5 minutes back. Well, you've got this other signal that's happening right now. When they overlap, then it's good go. And so you can control, the time window of the signal. And also you can control, what interval. Like, for instance, like we're looking at a 3-month daily over here on the XIV. You can control that and make it, whatever you want it to be. So a lot of flexibility here.
Yeah, I'm going to spend another week playing around with this, try and find my way to all this stuff. I am impressed.
Okay.
I'm even more impressed now I've talked to you about it.
Well,
I'm sure I can make this work somehow.
Well, okay. Well, I'm here. You can always reach me by email, and you'll get the exact same. Okay, Malcolm, let's look closer at what you're trying to achieve. Maybe we'll share your screen, and then we'll try to approach your particular strategy. Get it built in, and get things going for you. But I know you want to spend some time with it, but whenever whenever you're ready to implement something, just let me know, and then we'll move forward on it.
Great, I appreciate it. I think I got enough ammunition to be dangerous now. So
that's good.
Great.
That's great. Well, I definitely appreciate talking to you. I'm sorry that I'm not really formal as to, okay, this is when we start, this is where we end. I always kind of get a feeling of the type of person I'm speaking to, and I think I understand your depth of knowledge and kind of where you're trying to be, all of these other things, like you've seen them before, because if you traded in multiple systems, you understand layouts and all that other kind of stuff. So I'm pretty sure that you're able to get around here.
I'm a retired engineer, and I had my own manufacturing business. Still do, actually. I sold it to the employees.
Okay.
I sold it to my employees. But so now I get to do this full time, which is fun.
Oh, that's fun. That's great.
So anyway, I'm sure you'll hear some more from me because I will have some questions.
Oh, that's no problem. I'll always try to answer them as fast as possible.
Thanks very much, Len. Appreciate it.
All right. I'll be talking to you soon.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.